Okay. Special issues, Counselor Smith. Here. Counselor Gear. Here. Counselor Alomon.
Here.
Counselor Stevens.
Here.
And Counselor Andrus.
Here.
All present.
All right, can I get a motion to discuss the reading of the minutes and approve them? Okay, motion by Ms. Sorry, Gear and seconded by Ms. Andrews. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
We have no old business. New business, I'm going to take one item first. 230322 public hearing set for April 11th, 2022 at 6 p.m. for consideration of secondary front yard fence variance at 63 Campbell Avenue. Raj Vashani and Natasha Mehra, owners, and Wyatt Key from our BEC department. My mouth isn't working right. Don't want to come forward and let's see, do we have a sign-in sheet
I do.
for them? Sign it in and then just tell us what y'all are looking at. I know y'all were here about the trees.
Yes.
Got the tree taken care of.
Familiar faces.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us back. I'm Rod Shine, Tasha there. We just moved into 6.5 Campbell 2 months ago. As you can tell, it's a corner lot, so double front yard. The vast majority of the yard is on the side yard. Now, Homewood owns 20 feet of the side, and we own 20 feet of the side as well. There's a large right of way there. And if you were to see the bottom part of it, it's almost more like a peninsula shaped.
Yeah, y'all are kind of like in the middle of two streets.
Exactly. So it kind of really comes out there. So double front yard, most of the usable yard is on the side. And one big reason for that is whenever it rains, so we're in a cove, you see the beginning of the circle on the side there. Water all goes downhill, and I guess we didn't realize this when we were buying it, but downhill is our backyard and our neighbor's yard behind us, or our neighbor behind us. They probably get flooded worse than us. So whenever it rains, our backyard is unusable, and that's why we really hoping to have some side yard as part of our fence. So the water issue is one part of it, and along with that, we really want a place for our dogs where we can just kind of let them out, especially again when it's raining, the backyard's unusable. And there's been the issue of a lot of unleashed dogs throughout the neighborhood where they've run onto our property a decent amount. There was one incident where I was letting them out. Mine were on leashes. The two large dogs ran over to my dogs. My dogs were pinned down by these two large dogs. They thought they were being attacked. We just want somewhere safe that they can be let out at all times as well. I have security footage of the two large dogs when they did come onto the yard. We did really worry about our dogs after that, and we've been anxious for this fence ever since that happened. But the dogs were friendly. They meant well. We have small dogs, and when they see see big dogs running at them, they feel like they're being attacked. So yeah, I have the security footage if anyone wants to see it. They felt like they were being attacked, essentially. They've been scared to go out.
And I think the other thing is this is probably our fault for not looking into this, but when we bought the house, it was all completely built and the fence plans that the builder showed us originally in our negotiations, the builder was going to put up the fence. Eventually it came down to we'll put up the fence, but all the drawings and stuff they showed us showed a fence like this. So
And I was gonna say, there's not a fence currently, right?
No,
Not
there's
currently.
I was about to say, I was just up there and I'm like, I don't think I saw a fence at all.
And that was on us for not looking at the ordinance. We trusted the builder, unfortunately, that he had the fence actually throughout almost right away as well, which was far out of ordinance and what he could do. But we trust him. One of the reasons we wanted to move out, we loved this house, is we had a good yard to let the dogs out. Once we got our second dog, the place felt small. We really wanted to let him out. So we wanted pretty much a usable space and somewhere that's safe for our dogs to be let out. That's why some of the side yard would be helpful for us. Again, this would all be on our property. There's a large right of way, 20 feet to the cove, and it's a very tiny cove. It's not a big road that we're trying to
And we've
impinge upon.
spoken with all our neighbors and they're all okay with it.
And the only reason why why it's a variance is because
It's a
a
second.
corner-ish.
Yeah,
right?
it's, because it's, I mean, it's not even really a corner lot. I mean, that's probably what it's classified as, but it's really like sitting in the middle of two roads.
Yeah.
It's kind of a, like he said, it's more like a peninsula. Yeah, so.
But it's not
yeah.
coming past the front of the house.
No, no, no.
Oh,
It's,
no,
it's
it'll
on
move.
the side. And y'all, it looks like y'all, so y'all will still park your cars inside the fence.
Inside.
So the gate will be large enough, obviously, for a car to pass through.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so this is in a public hearing set for Monday night, so the appropriate motion would be to send it out without recommendation pending that public hearing on Monday.
I'm just curious real quick. Second.
But it's,
Sorry, okay, I'm sorry, who made the motion? Okay, Ms. Gear made the motion and Mr. Allen seconded it. Okay.
I was just curious, where's the front door of the house? Is it where that sidewalk is?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really, it's kind of a strange arrangement. If you might want to just drive by so you can
And
check it out.
they're-
It's just kind of odd.
And the right of way,
I
or
think
their
I would-
property line's not very wide on that other side.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's much wider on the other.
So even if there was a house there, they could bring that fence there anyway to that line, right?
A fence would be allowed in this location, it's just that it requires a
Right.
15-foot setback.
Right.
And they currently have a 19-foot setback to their property line, so that would be about to right here. Is what they would be allowed, something like that.
So it's just, it's adding 4 feet of distance.
Well, I guess, I thought my understanding was it'd be 15 feet from the property line, so it would be in,
From the house.
from the house.
No, I'm sorry, you're exactly right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So right now, the fence would be allowed 4 feet
My
of
bad.
fence.
Yeah, so that would be about right there, you know, about 4 feet from the house.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
it's super
This
close.
is a picture of the lot. I don't know if anyone wants to look at it. The entire yard.
Yeah, so like that's the front. Yeah. And then it's like, there's a street over here, so that's the one side, and then the street that runs in front kind of goes around. It's just an interesting.
the lot, the problem is because of the lot.
Right, yeah.
What a true variance. would be.
Yes, exactly.
To
Yes.
address it.
A hard shell.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you get a second?
Yes, we did. Yeah, so the motion by Ms. Gear, second by Mr. Almond, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, no opposed, so that passes, so we'll be sending it out, y'all know, next week, just like you did for the
Exactly.
tree. Just come, he'll have all the images, if you wanted to send any more images, you can send them to me or to Ms. Salter. and get it right.
Perfect.
All
Thank you,
right.
everyone.
All right,
you.
thank
Appreciate
y'all,
having us.
have a good night.
Thanks.
Okay.
You want to
um,
come next week for something else?
I'm sure they do not. Okay, we'll go back up to 220322, public hearing set for April 11th, 2022 at 6 p.m. for consideration of a sign variance at 2834 18th Street South, McBritton, Lido, Kingfisher Signs, and Wyatt Hugh, and this is for the front
This is the
Lido
front.
sign, correct?
Yes, we talked about the rear side previously. So this variance is this request is for a height variance of 39 inches to allow a 63-inch tall Archog logo. The ordinance will permit a maximum height of 24 inches for letters or logos. This one's 63 inches. Unlighted, non-illuminated.
Is it paint, is it gonna be mounted on the wall or is it painted?
I believe the sign.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be dimensional lettering.
Okay.
So it's gonna stick out from the wall.
So channel
Oh,
letters.
No, it's not channel,
Oh,
it's just, yeah.
Okay.
We were aware that 24 inches is the maximum allowed. So we drew a proof showing that. And as you can see, it's kind of lost in the vast expanse of the wall there. So the folks at Nadeau asked us to use their logo in its normal proportions with the maximum height being 24 inches on this lettering, okay? And to seek a variance, because we think that looks much better. They think, and we agree with them, that it looks much better than the 24-inch one.
Questions? Not, this is the same motion as before.
Just send that without recommendation.
All right, motion made by Ms. Amos,
Second.
second for Ms. Gear. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, that is 5-0, so that will be in public hearing next Monday night. All right, our final item is 240322, public hearing set for April 11th, 2022 at 6 p.m. for consideration of front yard fence variance at 101 Acton Avenue, Kirby Dean Ferris, Mr. Pugh, and again, I drove by this one also today,
Okay.
because they're all kind of over there in the same general vicinity. This one is a corner lot as well.
It is. This particular one, Scott Cook actually caught this project sort of halfway in progress. At the risk of making this look too complicated, what I've done is I've drawn a yellow rectangle showing where no variance would be needed. So that's not where a fence is or where a fence is proposed. That's just to give you a visual of what would be allowed without a variance. What has been installed is this. This would require a variance, and the variance here is for a fence to extend beyond the predominant front wall of the living space. This is 101 Acton, this is the front wall of the living space.
Okay, so, because when I drove by today on the Carr Avenue side of the house,
Okay,
there is currently no fence.
here's what Mr. Cook saw when he drove up. The fence had been demolished, they were replacing it.
Yeah.
The gentleman, the owner came in and said that they were repairing it, but when Scott gave me this picture, that's a complete removal and replacement, which triggers the requirement to come into compliance. So they can have a fence in that secondary front yard, but a 15-foot setback again will be required, which I've drawn as you can see, I've drawn where the 15-foot setback would roughly be. This is where they have a fence. Now, this was an existing fence that they removed and want to rebuild. I believe this was an existing fence that they already rebuilt.
That's right there. So that's on the opposite side of the house.
It is. It's on the Acton side. And I've printed out a copy of the snippet from the ordinance here that tells you that a fence is permitted in all but one of the front yards, but no closer than 15 feet to the front lot line.
Right, and that's coming right up to the sidewalk. Do we know, did they give an indication as to why that was necessary? I get why they need us, because Carr is a pretty busy street. I get wanting the fence on that side of the house because it's adjacent to Carr Avenue, and you wouldn't want, I know this stuff, there's a play set in the back, so I think there's children. You wouldn't want your kid chasing a ball out to the middle of Carr Avenue, but I don't get the protruding part up here in the front.
Mr. Ferris didn't really give me an idea of why he needed it. That was just, he said that was existing and that was the way he wanted it. So what it falls out to be 3 requests: a variance to allow fence to extend beyond the predominant front wall of the living space, a variance to allow a fence in both front yards, and a setback variance of 15 feet on this side.
Because they want to bring it out to where it was before, which was not 15 feet.
Right. And this one, there is no setback allowance here. This just, you can't go beyond the predominant front wall living space.
Yeah.
Did he know we were gonna be discussing it in committee tonight?
I did. I emailed him and I don't know why he's not here.
Just to clarify, yellow, you said it would be allowed without any variances, the entirety of the yellow
That's correct.
on the drawing? So they would allow for some fence in the back and both sides.
That's correct. This would not extend beyond the predominant front wall of the living space. This would go all the way around, and this would be allowed in the secondary front yard with no closer than 15 feet to the front lot line.
I'll move to send out that recommendation pending public hearing.
Okay. Second. Motion by Ms. Sanders, second by Ms. Gear. All in favor, please say aye. And I think you should probably encourage Mr. Ferris to come to the public hearing. All right, your turn.